Welcome to the December 15th, 2022 Nassau County Planning Commission meeting. All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. All right, Greg.
So start with the roll call. Chairman Leonard Shapiro. Vice Chair Jeffrey Greenfield.
Present.
Third Vice Chair Neil Lewis. Ron Ellerby.
Present.
Murray Foreman.
Excused.
Denise Gold.
Present.
Commissioner Handan Kaladi.
Present.
Commissioner Reed Sakowicz.
Excused.
And Commissioner Lisa Warren. Can I have an acknowledgement of the receipt of the transcript from the November 17th, 2022 NCPC hearing?
So moved.
All those in favor? Motion carries.
And can I have a motion to open the public hearing on the OSPAC cases?
Motion to open public hearing on OSPAC 5, 9, and 10 of 2022.
Okay, before we go any further, just so everybody knows, council will have up to 10 minutes to plead their case, and anybody who wishes to speak, there are speaker registrations over on the side, which you can fill out, and you will have 3 minutes to speak as well. Continue.
Would you like me to pass OSPAC 5 of 2022 to the commission? Okay.
5 is withdrawn. We don't need any motion.
Is Kevin still here?
Yep.
You want to put the appearance on record and your withdrawal?
Good morning, Commissioners. Kevin Walsh from the Office of Real Estate Services. We are asking that OSPAC 5-2022 be withdrawn today. Thank you.
Okay, next.
Next is OSPAC File 9 of 2022. This is an application to sell county property located north of 37 Rogers Road, mailing address of Great Neck, within the borders of the incorporated village of Kings Point, and their residential A zoning district, Section 1, Block 182, Lot 54. This parcel is approximately 445 square feet. Nassau County is requesting permission to sell the above referenced subject property to the adjoining owner, who is located to the south at the corner of Spring Lane and Rogers Road. DPW approves the release without condition, and if approved, staff recommends conditioning the sale on merging the tax lot to the adjoining owner's lot. Here today to speak is the attorney from the real estate office, Kevin Walsh.
Good morning. Kevin Walsh, Office of Real Estate Services. As Greg mentioned, this is a sliver parcel adjacent to this homeowner who's requested to take title to it. It's very likely or possible it was part of his lot in the past and became a separate tax parcel. So our goal is to sell it, get it back on the tax rolls, and it will be sold for fair market value.
Is there anybody in the public that wishes to be heard? Commissioners, any questions? If not, I'll take a motion to close the public hearing.
All right, so we're just going to do the first one first, which is OSPAC number 5, and my motion is that we close the public hearing.
5 was withdrawn.
All right, okay, so on 9. So the motion is to close the public hearing on OSPAC number 9, send the item to the OSPAC committee.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next up is OSPAC number 10 of 2022. This is an application to sell county property located east of 2457 First Avenue, the hamlet of East Meadow, Town of Hempstead's Residential B zoning district, Section 50, Block 352, Lot 31. The parcel size is approximately 3,734 square feet. Nassau County is requesting permission to sell the above-referenced subject property to the adjoining owner to the west. DPW approves the release without condition, and if approved, staff also recommends conditioning the sale on merging the tax lot to an adjoining owner's lot. Once again, Kevin Walsh.
First, let me have a motion to open the public hearing. You open to all of them? Okay. All right, go ahead. Good morning, Kevin.
Good morning again, Commissioners. Kevin Walsh, Office of Real Estate Services. Similar to the last item before you, this is a request from an adjoining property owner to acquire adjoining side lot in East Meadow. Just adjacent to this lot is also right-of-way area of Newbridge Road. They are not seeking to acquire that. So for the same reasons, we will be seeking to sell this to the adjoining owner for fair market value and to have the property back on the tax rolls.
So it's more than like a sliver. It's a significant piece of property, but it's probably not big enough to eventually be subdivided into another house.
I'm not sure of the purpose, and actually that question was raised yesterday with OSPAC, so we're going to clarify that with the homeowner, what his purpose is in seeking to acquire this.
The total width of what would be sold by the county is how much?
I think Greg mentioned 3,700 square feet. Do you remember the dimensions? 3,500, you remember the width?
3735.
3735.
Your usual building lot in Town of Hempstead is 6,000 square feet, so unless there's a surplus of land there, and this will come back to you for the recommendation to the legislature. So you'll have a second bite of the apple, and I'm certain Kevin will have more information by that time as to what the homeowner wants to do.
To me, I don't think it is a concern. I don't think it's big enough to be subdivided, so it would be added onto this house, and I think it's probably fine. Okay.
Is there anybody in the public that wishes to be heard on this? Not seeing any, I'll take a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Is there a second? Second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
One more. Yep. Okay, going with the minor subdivisions. This is NCPC file 55 of 2022. This was adjourned from our last hearing on November 17th. This is an application for a two-lot subdivision, 2116 Center Avenue, Hamlet of Belmore, Town of Hempstead, Residential B zoning district. 14,050 square foot area subject property. Lot A would be 7,225 square feet. Lot B would be 6,825 square feet. Town of Hempstead has issued a letter of zoning compliance for the proposed subdivision. At the November 17, 2022 NCPC hearing, this case was adjourned until today in order to allow for the Town of Hempstead Landmark Preservation Committee to hear arguments from neighbors regarding landmark preservation status of the current home. The initial hearing was held on November 29, 2022, and the committee voted 3-2 in favor of proceeding with the application. At this point in time, a second hearing must be had. However, the member of the Town of Hempstead Building Department who handles the certified mailings for the hearing is on leave indefinitely with health issues. As such, the town is not able to provide a definitive timeline for when the case might be heard next, and in the meantime, the Town of Hempstead has assured Planning Commission staff that demolition permits will not be issued under any circumstances before a final decision is made. Here today representing the applicant is Howard Avertine.
Good morning, Counselor.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the Commission. Appearing for the applicant, Howard Avertine, 2116 Merrick Avenue, Merrick. As is usual, Mr. Hessel prepared a very complete explanation of the current state of affairs. I would like to just amplify by stating that under the town's Landmark Commission regulations and legislation, the process states essentially that if indeed the Landmark Commission were to determine that or to make a recommendation, they don't make the final determination. They make a recommendation as to whether a particular property or building ought to be designated as a landmark. irrespective of the recommendation that they make, whether to be or not to be a landmark, that decision is then reviewed by the town board, and subsequent to that time, the town board has a period of 90 days to hold a public hearing on the issue of whether it will officially either sustain whatever recommendation is made or overrule it. So, as you've heard, the timeline with this process is very murky at this time, but yet the town has assured staff, this is the first time hearing that, but the town apparently has assured staff that the building as it currently is configured will not be issued a permit for demolition until such time as the process is completed. With that background, we certainly respectfully request that this commission proceed. We're looking for approval of the creation of 2 lots. That will not impact in any way whatsoever the decision on landmarking and whether this home will be demolished or not. However, in the event that landmark designation is denied, we want to be able to proceed promptly. The creation of the lots, the creation of new tax lot lines is not going to impact in any way, shape, or form that determination. I'd also like to point out that under New York, under Section 334A of the real property law, subsection B, the property under application is on a filed subdivision map, which was filed in Nassau County in 1912, prior to 1945. So all we are really asking for is what is a waiver under the real property law. So we respectfully request that this process be completed. Whatever's going to take place at the town level will take place, but it's with all due respect to the commission, it's unfair to the applicant for this application to be put off or delayed any further, and we would like it decided at this time. It's a fully zoning compliant parcel. Under normal circumstances, I think it would fall into the no-brainer category, if I may be so bold. So we would really like to see the commission proceed and decide and approve the matter at this morning's meeting.
Thank you. We have one speaker, Christine Keller. Name and address for the record, please.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Christine Keller. My address is 404 Center Avenue, Belmore, New York. And I just, in regard to the Gowan Lawrence Graber House at 2116 Center Avenue, the Town of Hempstead Landmarks Commission found sufficient evidence based on what was presented to warrant a hearing for landmark status. A hearing date is currently in process of being set. As you know, the developer, owner, and his counsel were present at the meeting and are aware of the decision that was made. The Landmark Commission made a point of saying that the hearing must be set as soon as legally possible so as to avoid delay to the owner. As such, in line with the County Planning Commission's decision to adjourn at the last hearing, to allow Landmark Commission to make its landmark status decision, it's respectfully requested that this matter be adjourned, again, so that the formal hearing may take place. The community appreciates your consideration.
Thank you. Is there anybody else in the public that wishes to be heard?
You want to give your speaker registration form? Anyone else that has a speaker registration form, give it to the staff, please.
Greg?
Come on up.
Greg, do you want to grab that? Name and address for the record, please.
My name is Robert Quinn, residing at 403 Center Avenue, Belmore, across the street with a full view of 2116 Center Avenue from my front window. I was born in Brooklyn, moved to Queens, and when I got married in 1978, I decided to buy a house and make my home in Nassau County. I loved what Nassau County offered: great schools, parks, houses, large properties. Nassau was like moving to the country, with lots of small towns and villages. You have already approved a subdivision on Center Avenue, 1 block south of the Gowan Lawrence Graber House. Now, about a year later, you seem about to approve another subdivision just down the block and tearing down a beautiful and historical brick house and replace it with 2 cookie-cutter homes. Hundreds of Belmore community members have come out against this subdivision and in support of saving this historical house and the look and feel of Belmore town. We don't want to become another Queens. Your website says the planning commissioners are appointed by the Nassau County Executive. I voted for Bruce Blakeman, and so far I'm very happy with how he's leading and protecting the interests of Nassau County residents. So though we didn't elect you, the planning commissioners, you are Executive Blakeman's appointees to care for the best interests of Nassau County residents. Is the purpose of the Planning Commission to rubber stamp this subdivision supporting a developer who has no interest in our community other than making money? Or does the Planning Commission listen to the hundreds of residents who are against this subdivision and want to protect this historic home and the character of our village? I hope you're listening to the voice of the people and not just a developer. Thank you.
Just one, sir, one clarification for the record. County Executive Blakeman did not appoint every member of the commission. I'm on here 19 years. Chairman Shapiro's here 21 years.
And I appreciate
24 years. We respect the county executive. We appreciate his contribution. He appointed some of the new members, subject to the appointment is really from the Nassau County Legislature. They approve it, and I've been approved before by the legislature. I do serve at the pleasure of the county executive to that extent, and I've been appointed by 3 county executives from 2 different political parties. I'm very proud of that. And I always think of the people because I serve at Rockville Center as zoning board chairman for 16 years before arriving here for 19 years.
And I'm happy of your service to the county, and that only more supports. You wouldn't have got appointed all these times if you didn't represent our interests.
Well, sir, the board is an autonomous board, and yes, they're here to be fair to the members of the community. They're also here to be fair to applicants. This is a semi-judicial proceeding. Nothing is done in the dark. Nothing is rubber stamped. Applicants come before us at a public hearing, have their say. Public like yourself have their say, and the commissioners make their decision. But that decision, a lot of what they make is governed by the laws of the state of New York and the charter of Nassau County. And they can't take one side over another, nor do they. So with that understanding, please note that they're not supposed to err on one side or the other. They're supposed to make a decision based upon those laws and their knowledge of the rules and regulations of the Planning Commission.
So it's only a legal matter. It's not anything to do with the community.
No. We're very respectful of the community, and we're respectful of comments from the community. And yes, there are legal issues that come to bear, and we tell the people we're an Article 78 to overturn our decision wouldn't work. But we have no problem waiting for the process to carry through. And the process is such that we'll wait. When do you expect the town to designate the status of the building?
That I'm not sure about.
Well, I don't know that you can wait. You know, the applicant is
Right.
entitled to a decision, and this is the second meeting. So if the commission is inclined to adjourn it, I would suggest one more time, absent, extraordinary circumstances. You also have the knowledge that I think council put on the record that the town is not going to act and issue a demolition permit unless and until the Landmarks Preservation Committee makes a ruling. So there is safety in that. But if the applicant went to court and demanded that this board make a decision, I'm fairly certain, after that much time, they would get such an order.
I have no problem putting forward a motion for one more adjournment on advice of council to January 26th. I know we've been through a few postponements, and the speaker, you may want to call upon the town board to take action one way or another. And for your information, for the record, this is the most unusual election year coming up. 4 town board members will be running for election. There are 2 new members that will be seated, 1 new member, 1 previously seated, and the regularly scheduled ones. So you may want to remind them. You don't have to remind us of our status.
I thank you for your service and for listening to us.
Thank you. Howard?
I think Mr. Averty wants to be heard.
Before we do the motion, let Mr. Avertine be heard, and then commissioners will take any other comments.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity. It's really disheartening that this matter is going to be postponed again, or apparently that's the thinking. As I indicated already, this applicant does have legal rights, and this is an application that has nothing at all to do with the parallel application going on at the town for landmark status. And that is going to be contested severely at every level of its progress. But I think one thing that we've heard, which is a certainty, that matter is not going to be completed in a month. There's been no discussion of a hearing date before the commission itself, the Landmark Commission. Apparently someone is out ill, and they don't have a large staff, so it's certainly unknown.
How many people are on this commission? One person goes out ill and they stop functioning?
I don't have any connection with the commission other than the fact that my client owns a piece of property that has been singled out for landmark designation, not by my client, but by others. So we're a third party to this. It's not our application.
I respect and understand that, Councilor.
I'll just explain, Commissioner
I'm as
Greenfield.
frustrated as you as the process and the lack of process. Okay, I think the people are entitled to a quick answer, and I think we as Planning Commission are entitled to a quicker answer.
I don't think you're going to get an answer when the town is good and ready to give you one, I suspect. And us. We're the ones who are being treated improperly here.
So would you consider bringing an article sending it against the town to speedy?
I have to speak to my client about that.
Is your client here now?
Yes, they're here. But the point is this.
Even if he brought one, it would never get decided. And that would get decided. That'd be 9 months from now.
January 26th, the date, is essentially meaningless because, as I indicated, we're already close to the holiday break, so nothing is going to happen between now and the end of the year. The best case scenario is that there'd be a hearing scheduled for some time during the month of January, which is not a certainty by any means, and that is a hearing to be held by the Landmark Commission. The Landmark Commission will, in all likelihood, even if it held a hearing in January, excuse me one second, even if it held a hearing in January.
Maybe it's the Landmark Commission calling you to set a date.
It isn't. Even if they held a hearing in January, they would close the hearing and reserve decision and deliberate for a period of time. And then, again, this is a recommendation, not a binding decision. From that time that recommendation is issued, the town board has 90 days to determine whether it will hold a hearing on the issue of whether to accept or reject the recommendation. Yes. So there's no...
Howard, I want to make a motion that we go into executive session for advice of our counsel. And we'll stand by, everybody. We'll be out real quick. We have a full agenda, and we have people...
Before you do that, if I also just may add, and I'll reiterate, I know I said this before, but I'll say it again because I think it's very important. The action this board takes to approve the subdivision will in no manner impact what happens in connection with the landmark determination, one way or the other. But it will at least afford my client, the applicant, his legal rights to create the subdivision.
But we also know that he can't put the shovel in the ground this time.
That's understood, but he's allowed to have 2 lots. There's nothing wrong with that.
All right, we're going into executive session.
Thank you.
Chair, would you like me to address the?
Absolutely.
Okay. So I think the consensus of the Commission, Mr. Avertine, is to adjourn it to the January 26th meeting with the understanding, without not marking it final, that in effect it will be. We're down 2 commissioners today, so for you to have a grant, there would need to be 5 affirmative votes, and obviously well aware that your client has been very patient, not only to one adjournment but now 2 adjournments, whether he agreed to it or not. But and to the public, he does have a point. Mr. Avertine has made a very good point that all that is before the board right now is the subdivision, not the demolition itself. But I think the commissioners are inclined to at least let the process take one more shot with the landmarks. But even if landmarks, if it doesn't work, I understand the one person who sends the notices is out with a heart attack, and that notice may never go out. We all hope the person gets better, but who knows what's going to happen over there. The town can't control the calendar of the Planning Commission. So with that understanding, I believe the commissioners are prepared to adjourn it for the January 26th and make with the intention of making a determination that day.
So just so I'm clear, you're saying that in the event on the 26th of January, there is either not been a hearing held yet, or there has been a hearing with no determination.
Absent any development of consequence, I believe the commissioners are prepared to rule that day. Without marking it final and boxing themselves into a corner, I believe that's the intention.
Thank you, Mr. O'Brien.
Okay. Chair, would you, someone want to make
I'll
a
go back
motion?
to my motion to adjourn to the January 26th meeting for all the reasons, and then some, that our learned counsel, Mr. O'Brien, said.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Next up is NCPC File 57 of 2022. This is an application for a 2-lot subdivision at 1 Aberdeen Road and 45 Mayfair Road, the hamlet of North New Hyde Park, town of North Hempstead, in their Residence B zoning district. This is an application from the Roman Catholic Church of Notre Dame. It is a 167,050 square foot or 3.83 acre area subject property situated on the northeast corner of New Hyde Park Road and Aberdeen Road. Application proposes to subdivide the property, which has 72.44 feet of frontage on New Hyde Park Road and 56.86 feet of frontage on Aberdeen Road, into 2 separate parcels. That is, of course, the existing home to the south there. Proposed Lot A, which is the Roman Catholic Church of Notre Dame, will remain with approximately 745 feet of frontage on Mayfair Road and be a total of 161,628 square feet, or 3.71 acres. And proposed Lot B to the south, as said, will be 72.44 feet of frontage by 67 feet, a total of 5,421 square feet. Town of North Hempstead Board of Zoning Appeals approved the request for variances. Variances to subdivide a property into 2 lots, with one of the lots being too small, to legalize a home on the smaller lot, which will be too close to the rear property line, and which will have parking spaces which are too small, and to legalize the buildings on the larger lot with not having a large enough side yard. Proposed Lot B, which is the existing residence, already has a separate mailing address of 1 Aberdeen Road and is currently used for miscellaneous church administrative purposes. Those administrative purposes will now be moved to the convent next door. When the church acquired the subject property by way of a deed filed in 1968, proposed Lot B had its own meets and bounds description. Sometime during the 1980s, proposed Lot B was merged into the single tax lot that is known as Tax Lot 3 today and contains the church and that residence. 1940, the owner of proposed Lot B received a rear yard variance from the Town of North Hempstead Board of Zoning Appeals to build the existing 1-family dwelling. A certificate of occupancy for the dwelling was issued in 1941. The dwelling at that time was built on a lot having a lot area coverage of only 5,195 square feet, which is 4% smaller than the lot size being proposed in the current application today. There are currently 49 homes within a 200-foot radius that have lot areas of 5,100 square feet or less in this area. Here today representing the Roman Catholic Church of Notre Dame is Vincent Apicella.
Good morning, Council. Name and address for the
Good
record.
morning. Vincent Apicella of Murphy and Lynch, East Norwich, New York. For the applicant, the Roman Catholic Church of Notre Dame, first let me thank Mr. Hessel for that fine summary. We represent the church. Here today is the pastor of the church, Reverend John J. McCartney. Just for the record, I'd like to clearly note the full name of the owner of the property, and that is the Roman Catholic Church of Notre Dame at New Hyde Park in the county of Nassau in the state of New York, a religious corporation. Now, as noted, this is an application to subdivide the property into two parcels. The property was acquired in 1968 from the then Bishop of Brooklyn. The 3.8 acres is designated on the Nassau County Land and Tax Map as Section 8, Block 295, Lot 3. It is surrounded on the north by Durham Road, on the east by Mayfair Road, on the south by Aberdeen Road, and on the west by New Hyde Park Road, and as was indicated, it's in a Residence B district. The property, again, as noted, is improved by a church, a school, a convent, which is now vacant and which is being converted to church-related office use, as well as a rectory, a playground, a garage, and the one-family dwelling. The one-family dwelling, which is located on the corner of Aberdeen Road and New Hyde Park Road, has that separate address, 1 Aberdeen Road, and is currently used for social ministry, clothing assistance, a food pantry, and other miscellaneous uses.
Could I ask you to interrupt
Yes.
for just a moment there? So can we just be 100% clear the property we're referring to? So is it the corner lot that has the...
No.
Do you see up on the screen?
What you should see is Lot 3, which is the entire parcel, which is a combination of Parcel A and B. Parcel A incorporates all of the improvements which I've just mentioned.
Right.
The only improvement on Parcel B is the one-family dwelling with the address 1 Aberdeen Road at the corner of Aberdeen Road and New Hyde Park Road. Everything else is incorporated into Parcel A. Is that...
But that sounds like the answer to my question is yes then. You said it was no.
I'm sorry. Yes.
So
A Lot 3 incorporates
could I ask our
everything.
staff to come back to the podium? Can we just be clear on the property that we're discussing here? Is it the corner property that's highlighted by that line? Is that
No,
yellow
the-
line what is going to be in the future, or is that yellow
No.
line what currently exists?
That is the entire
Okay, and
tax Lot 3. If I could go over to here.
okay. So the answer to my question, just to be clear, is yes. The property we're discussing is the corner property that is in it's at the corner of Aberdeen and New Hyde Park.
The property is surrounded by New Hyde Park Road, Aberdeen Road, Mayfair Road, and Durham Road. That's Lot 3. If you look at the survey and the partitioning map we provided, it clearly denotes the area in question.
Yeah. No, we understand. We just wanted to be clear.
Yeah.
The purpose of the hearing is subdividing. So
Yeah.
we're breaking one piece off from the larger lot.
Correct.
And I just wanted to make sure that we were
Correct.
clear in discussing, because
Correct.
some of what you're describing is the entire property.
Correct.
Right. We're
Right.
breaking the piece off, and it's that
Right.
corner.
Right. It's a very, if it's a very, very small area, it's, I believe, 0.12 acres, Everything else remains under parcel A.
And it's essentially functioned, let's get to the purpose of the function of the property. You're not looking for, it could be sold off.
No.
Or-
I was going to get to that.
Okay.
Nothing is being built. Nothing is being removed. All we are doing is creating a separate lot for that corner parcel. At the current time, there was, well, let me go through what I wanted to say, but I'll speed it up a little bit. In 1980, in the early 1980s, there was a merger of 32 separate tax lots. There was former tax lot 3, which is now retired, which was the tax lot for that little corner property, okay? Everything else was tax lots 4 through 34. And then what happened...
I think we get that part.
Right.
The history that properties were previously separate and then
Right.
merged
Right.
is fascinating, but it's not really of question here today. I don't think this is a complicated application.
No.
To me, the purpose for what you're doing is subdividing. You're breaking it off.
Right.
But it's reasonable for us as a board to ask what the future use and future
Right.
intentions are.
Right.
So the point is, it's already functioned essentially as a single-family home, even though there were church activities
Right.
going on.
Right.
And so it's not a dramatic difference
No.
that if it's subdivided out.
No. There's no change in the use of any of the improvements on parcel A or parcel B. Nothing is being removed and nothing is being added. Okay?
That's what's important. Okay.
Yeah.
And
And
move on to the next question I have, Counselor.
sure.
Your recitation of your legal name. Here's my simple question. Are you part of the Diocese of Rockville Center?
I reside in Mineola.
No.
Yes.
So are you subject to the bankruptcy proceedings?
No.
Well, that's what I want to know. Are you
No.
allowed
The-
to do this under the bankruptcy proceedings?
Yes. We are a separate religious corporation.
But you're not part of the Diocese of Rockville
We
Center?
are a part of the diocese, but we are a separate religious corporation.
Every parish is a separate corporation.
Oh, okay.
Okay? And by the way, I have been in constant communication with counsel for the dioceses throughout this entire process. And there's been no objection, no question about how the pending bankruptcy might affect a zoning application of this nature.
So the intent of this is not the same intent where the diocese sold their headquarters at 53 Park Avenue
No.
in Rockville Center
No.
to satisfy
No.
the need
What
for
we're
money.
trying to boil it all down, what we're trying to do effectively is get back what once was a tax lot 3, which was that little parcel, up until the merger. That little cutout where the one-family house is had its own tax lot. Then tax lot 3, which has since been retired.
What does it matter to you if you're tax exempt? That's where I'm also confused.
Well, what we want to do is we want to create a building lot, which we've gotten variances for, so eventually we can sell the house on the
Oh,
corner.
so you do want to sell it?
Yes, at some point in the future, we want the option to be able to sell that house. The reason being is the convent is being renovated, and what was taking place was several activities at the One Aberdeen home would then be moved over to the convent. Some of the activities at the rectory will be moved over to the convent. The convent is being worked on at the present time to accommodate additional religious or church office use. So we will no longer have a need for the house on the corner. That being the case, we would like to be able to sell the house or have the option to sell the house in the future and raise some revenue.
Now I understand it. Thank you, sir.
Okay? So that's essentially the reason why we're here and the reason why we're asking for the subdivision. It's only for the benefit of that one family dwelling on the corner of Aberdeen and New Hyde Park Road.
Thank you. Commissioners, any questions? Is there anybody in the public that wishes to be heard? Not hearing any, I'll take a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve NCPC minor subdivision file 57, 2022.
With a neck deck.
I'll second. Oh,
All those
Well,
in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome.
Next up is NCPC File 58 of 2022. This is an application for a two-lot subdivision at 106 Allen Drive. Mailing address of Great Neck, but located within the unincorporated area of Manhasset, Town of North Hempstead's Residence C zoning district. This is a 9,996 square foot area subject property situated on the east side of Allen Drive. Application proposes to subdivide the property, which has 100 feet of frontage on Allen Drive, into two separate parcels. Proposed Lot A will have 51.67 feet of frontage by 93.27 feet, total of 4,997 square feet. And proposed Lot B will have 48.33 feet of frontage by 100 feet, a total of 4,998 square feet. Town of North Hempstead Board of Zoning Appeals approved the request for variances. Variance to subdivide a property into two building lots, both of which are too small and have an insufficient minimum lot area. Subject property is also located within 300 feet of the municipal border with the incorporated village of Lake Success. As such, the applicant has obtained a waiver from the village of Lake Success, which reads as followed. The application for waiver of subdivision filing requirements is hereby approved, and any and all requirements of law that the approval of the planning board be obtained as a condition of the proposed subdivision of land or the recording of deeds to the property shown on the proposed plat are waived on the following terms and conditions. A, that the premises shall be subdivided only as shown on the plot plan prepared by Lamb & Lamb Architects Designs, DPC, dated May 20th of this year, and B, that the deed separately conveying the lots shown as lots 2 and 3 on the proposed plot plan shall be filed and recorded with the Nassau County Clerk within 1 year of the date of the Nassau County Planning Commission's approval of this application. Here today representing the applicant is Bruce Miggets.
For the applicant, Bruce W. Miggets, Albany, 1050 Franklin Avenue, Garden City, New York. I'm not one lost for words normally, but there's not much I can really add to that. I just would point out that the zoning is a 5,000 square foot lot area. Parcel 1 is only 2.2 square feet short of 5,000. And the parcel 2 is only 1.4 square feet short of 5,000, which is the basis that the zoning board found the variance was de minimis. If you have any questions, we'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you, Commissioners. Is there anybody in the public that wishes to be heard on this? Not seeing any, I'll take a motion.
Motion to approve my NCPC minor subdivision 582022 with a negative deck.
Is there a second? Second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Best wishes for the holidays and a happy, healthy New Year.
thank you, Bruce.
Thank you.
Next is NCPC File 59 of 2022, application for a two-lot subdivision at 145 Potter Avenue, Hamlet of North Merrick, Town of Hempstead, Residential B zoning district. It is a 12,500 square foot area subject property situated on the south side of Potter Avenue. Application proposes to subdivide the property, which has 100 feet of frontage on Potter Avenue, into two equal parcels. Both Lot A and Lot B will have 50 feet of frontage with a depth of 125 feet and be a total of 6,250 square feet. Town of Hempstead Board of Appeals has approved the request for variances for both Lot A and Lot B. Variances, subdivision of lot, front width from and on street line to front setback line, and constructed dwelling with the garage, while the existing home on Lot B will be demolished along with the garage and deck. This application was previously seen as a zoning referral at the October 27th hearing of this year, where the Planning Commission voted unanimously to issue a local determination. There are 13 properties within 300 feet of the subject property that have street frontages of 50 feet or less. Here today representing the applicant is Howard Abertine.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the Commission. Appearing for the applicant, Howard Abertine, 2116 Merrick Avenue, Merrick. Mr. Hessel did a comprehensive explanation of the nature of the application. We received the necessary lot width variances from the Town of Hempstead Board of Appeals. Otherwise, the proposal is fully zoning compliant, and 50-foot wide parcels are common in this area. As I also indicated, the homes are not oversized for the property. They fit in very well, and as a result, the Board of Appeals determined that it was appropriate to grant the requested variance relief. And as Mr. Hessel indicated, the Commission recommended local determination.
Thank you. Commissioners, any questions? Is there anybody in the public that wishes to be heard on this application? Not seeing any, I'll take a motion.
Motion to approve NCPC file number 59/2022 with a negative deck.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Next up, we have NCPC File 60 of 2022. Application for a 3-lot subdivision at 1685 Meadowbrook Road, Hamlet of Merrick, Town of Hempstead Residential B Zoning District. This is a 21,147 square foot area subject property situated on the east side of Meadowbrook Road. The application proposes to subdivide the property, which has 67.55 feet of frontage on Meadowbrook Road, into 3 separate parcels, 2 of which will be configured as flag lots. Proposed Lot A will have 52.53 feet of frontage on Meadowbrook Road with a depth of 129 feet, total of 6,379 square feet. Proposed Lot B will have a gross area of 7,117 square feet and a net area of 6,002 square feet. That is taking into account the flag lot configuration. And proposed Lot C will have a gross area of 7,650 square feet with a net area of 6,567 square feet. Town of Hempstead Board of Appeals approved the request for variances. For Lot A, the subdivision of lot front width from and on street line to front setback line, and construct a dwelling with insufficient access pursuant to Section 280A of the New York State Town Law, as well as demolish the existing dwelling. For Lot B and Lot C, you had a subdivision of lot front width at street line, construct dwelling with insufficient access pursuant to Section 280A of New York State Town Law. Of note, Section 280A of New York State Town Law calls for 15 feet of access on a proposed roadway. Additionally, the subject property is the largest residential lot within a 200-foot radius. Thus, the opportunity for substandard subdivisions in the immediate area is limited. Also, no other flag lots were noted in the area, and no other properties in the area can accommodate a flag lot subdivision. In terms of lot size, the 3 proposed lots are in character with the other lots in the area. This application was previously seen as a zoning referral at the May 27th hearing of this year, where the Planning Commission voted unanimously to issue a local determination with a letter. The letter that the Planning Commission provided to the Town of Hempstead Board of Appeals states that the applicant should be aware that they should obtain a sign-off from the local fire department stating that the fire department will be able to effectively serve the flag lot subdivision in the event of a fire emergency. The applicant has provided the Planning Commission with a letter from the North Merrick Fire District stating that the North Merrick Fire Department cannot guarantee that they would be able to access the property you plan to construct and develop. The materials you provided indicate proposed plans and measurements which the fire district apparatus may not be able to navigate during an emergency situation. There are too many unknown variables to take into consideration to definitively state if we would be able to respond to the homes you propose to build on the property during an emergency. Planning Division staff has learned that all garbage pickup and mail deliveries will take place on Meadowbrook Road at the foot of the proposed access driveway. All 3 of the proposed homes will have a 1-car garage, and 2 of the proposed homes will feature double-width driveways with the ability to accommodate the off-street parking of 2 cars. There's also a shared access agreement, which details such things as maintenance and snow removal obligations for the private roadway. These responsibilities are to be shared between all 3 potential homeowners. If the commissioners would allow, there are 2 neighbors who could not attend today but provided comments. Can I read them into the record? Thank you. Planning Division staff has received the following concerns from a neighbor, Jean Paluzzi, who is unable to attend and wishes to speak for her fellow neighbors. She has 4 concerns. 1, please place traps and ensure that rats and other animals that might be nesting in the abandoned property and structures are removed. We've seen rats coming from there. 2, a speed bump near the sidewalk entrance and exit of Meadowbrook Road would be helpful in ensuring the safety for children and persons walking to and from the library nearby. 3, ensure that no external basement entrances are allowed so as to make them single-family homes. I note that this is covered in the Town of Hempstead's Board of Appeals conditions. And then 4, it would be preferable that only 2 homes be built instead of 3. There's one other comment from Maeve Schultz. She's very sorry she had to leave due to time constraints. I'm concerned on the safety and proposed lot division and 3-home proposal. Limited ability to turn around with a 3rd house. Homeowners and their guests will be blindly backing out of the paper street, which is located directly next to the proposed driveway. Garbage and mail delivery affecting patrons and parents, stroller walkers. 3 homes, garbage and recycling is a substantial amount of debris. Particularly, this will be obstructive for those turning both north and south. Delivery trucks will exacerbate these concerns, especially as the delivery lifestyle continues. Curb cut of the driveway is flush alongside the fencing, will be next to our sidewalk pathways will be flush along where families push strollers. The 3rd house has no second parking spot, bring upon question of parking and concerns over safety since the space is very limited to vehicles turning around and on property. Any fence or enclosement of garbage would be dangerous, blocking views of our constituents, especially as a Nassau County polling place. Final concern we raise is life safety, which is raised in the letter concerning fire department access to the homes for emergency services and distance to fire hydrants. I will hand it over to the applicant's attorney, Howard Avertine. Thank you.
Good morning. Appearing for the applicant, Howard Avertine, 2116 Merrick Avenue, Merrick. Again, Mr. Hessel with a comprehensive explanation of the application. This commission is no stranger to flag lot configurations. I'd just like to submit 4, just in North Merrick alone, for the record, and I've highlighted the configurations. We have section 50, block V-2, lots 5, 8, 6, 1, and 6, 2.
But none of these that you're citing are within the radius map.
No, but they're in the area. I'm just, I wanted to make it clear that, especially in terms of the issue of access and the appropriateness of access, that the commission has seen substantially similar applications and approved them, creating these configurations that I'm going to be submitting.
So do any of those other examples include 2 houses at the end of the flag lot?
Well, they're all different types of arguably, the one I'm just describing is 3 in a row, right behind each other, which would arguably even be a more difficult configuration to navigate than what is proposed.
What is the width of the roadway on that one?
It looks to be approximately 30 feet or so at the curb.
So it's a much wider roadway.
It's a wider roadway.
Yeah,
double-
and
double the
also,
size.
see, if you're going to cite those, I'd like to see them and see
I'll
if they're...
hand them in. I have copies for you. I just wanted to put the information in the record
if you put
first.
on the record, and also if they're cul-de-sacs at the end.
The second one is section 50, block 347, lots 723, 724, 726, 727, and 738, North Jerusalem Avenue, North Merrick. The next one is Section 55, Block 540, Lots 70, 71, and 72, which is on Meadowbrook Road in North Merrick. And the final one is Section 55, Block 94, Lots 1374, 1375, and 1376 in North Merrick.
So if you could, staff, if we could pass them up. Greg, and to speed up the hearing, I got to lead with some questions, please. And also, could we get a copy of the Town of Hempstead decision? Either from staff or from, I'm curious. Mr. Aventine.
Yes, sir.
You've been here long enough to know that we have a former member, Oscar Holt, that the first thing he would hold up is a shoehorn when he thought that this is being shoehorned in. And the fact of the matter is that it is. I know it was artfully designed with a substandard roadway and no cul-de-sac for turning radius. And the fact that you expect mail delivery and garbage at the end of the road doesn't negate the fact, as a 48-year first responder, there's a serious problem identified by the letter from the North Merrick Fire Department of access for emergency vehicles. We don't have a full commission today, so you're spared from ex-Chief Reed Sakowitz from New Hyde Park Department. So it isn't just Jeff Greenfield professing the need for first responders to arrive on the scene. And I understand the volunteer fire service does what they have to do to respond to the scene. But any time apparatus arrives there without a cul-de-sac, they have to then be backed down, and you could, without even a working fire, just the food on the stove or a false alarm, it becomes problematic. And I think that the chiefs and commissioners of the North Merrick Fire Department gave a very clear letter depicting a problematic situation. And I, for one, would like to see it redesigned with respect to only one house at the end and then a cul-de-sac. The trend today with online shopping, my fear that I professed earlier, my house on a cul-de-sac dead end, at least when the FedEx, UPS, and Amazon trucks all arrive at my house, I'm always worried about a collision. But they can turn around in a cul-de-sac at the end of the street, as does the fire apparatus. This is not good planning. The fact that there's other ones in the neighborhood, 30-foot street is different than, I think it's, 15, half the size there, and no two-way traffic ability there. It's just not good, and I would be hard-pressed to vote for this. And you also have a problem today that you need 5 affirmative votes. So if you voluntarily would like to avoid a vote and hold it for the next meeting, we would entertain that item till we have a full commission on January 5th, hopefully. We can never guarantee it. People are out sick and things happen today.
I'm not available on January 5th, so that's not feasible for me. But in any rate, if
for any date, I mean, you could pick any date. You were upset on a previous hearing about the 26th. If you want to hold it for the 26th.
Well, obviously, regarding your comments, I'll confer with my client if I may have a few minutes. But
sure.
If I could just put on the record some response to your comments. Obviously, everyone is concerned about the safety, and clearly, those living in these homes, safety for them, for first responders, is of paramount importance. But let's look at what that letter from the fire department says and what it doesn't say. It doesn't say that they cannot do it. It says that they're not sure based upon what was provided to them. I don't know what they didn't ask for anything further, and it seems to me, with all due respect to the first responders, that in this day and age, getting letters where people are asked to sort of guarantee something, they're hesitant to do so. They're hesitant to state that, oh, this is great, because in the unfortunate event that something happens, that's again an unfortunate occurrence, and the finger pointing begins, no one wants to have a letter that brings attention to what one or another said. But let's also look at what the law is. As Mr. Hessel pointed out, the variances, among the variances that were granted, were variances pursuant to Section 280A of the New York State Town Law. And what that talks about is access when access is not directly from an improved street, which is under the auspices and jurisdiction of the municipality. And after you get through what the section requires and statement in the section that a variance is permissible, which the Town of Hempstead Board of Appeals granted, it says, for purposes of this section, the word access shall mean that the plot on which the structure is proposed to be erected directly abuts on a street or highway and has sufficient frontage thereon to allow the ingress and egress of fire trucks, ambulances, police cars, and other emergency vehicles. And this is the important part, in the state law, a frontage of 15 feet shall presumptively be sufficient for that purpose. Therefore, the state law is saying 15 feet access under these circumstances is sufficient access for emergency vehicles. So without any significant evidence to the contrary, just state, well, we're saying, well, we don't think it's wide enough, that, with all due respect, isn't a sufficient basis to conclude that. And it would not, any decision denying this application because of the access issue, I would respectfully submit, would not be supported by substantial evidence in the record, which is the legal requirement. So it's important, and obviously this was designed with the requirements of New York State Town Law 280A being taken into consideration. So that's a very, very important issue. Yes, sir.
Gave us examples of 4 different flag lots.
Yes, sir.
The width of those flag lots were 33 feet, 30 feet, 34 feet, and 30 feet, just so you know.
I understand.
They're not apples and oranges to what we're talking about here.
Well, what
Okay, that's number one. Number two, this letter is not conclusive from the fire department, okay? It says basically nothing. Until we get something from the fire department that says, in accordance with our regulations, that it's fine or it's not fine, we're not going to make a decision on this.
I understand.
Okay? We're going to also let the other commissioners talk, and then we're going to listen to the public, who we have numerous people who want to speak.
I understand, and I would just like to say, as far as the fire department letter, and again, with all due respect, the commission's regulations state that in the case of an application involving a proposed panhandle lot, a statement from the applicable fire district incorporating any recommendations, if any. It doesn't say that they have to approve it, say that it's works right or anything, just that it asks about recommendations.
I'm glad you cited that. If we adjourn this letter of August 10th, you can follow up with the fire district and the chairman of the Board of Fire Commissioners, Paul Wilders, and ask if he has any recommendations. I know a volunteer fire service is hesitant to ever put in writing that they're not going to be able to respond to a fire. The volunteer fire service does do what they have to do. I once drove a fire truck across a lawn, and I got called to the chief's office a week later when they got a $1,500 bill because cars were illegally parked. So I got the truck to the scene, but they got a $1,500 bill. I busted the sprinkler system and I rutted the lawn. And I said to the chief, who was yelling at me, I said, "Don't get so excited. I'll get the insurance company where the fire was to pay it," and I got it paid. But in any event, we need further clarification, I think, from the fire district. It's okay. The apparatus may not be able to navigate during an emergency situation. Now, if they have any recommendations.
I understand. I'm just telling you, we see what letter they were willing to provide in response to a request for a letter. I don't know that we'll be able to get anything different, quite frankly.
You'll have some time if you want.
At this point, Commissioner Lewis, did you have something you wanted to say? No. Okay. At this point, I'm going to let the public speak. I'm very sorry, but I'm having trouble reading your handwriting. Ms. Schultz, is that it?
I read her comment. She had to leave.
Oh, okay. Roseanne Mifsud? Did I pronounce it right? I'm sorry.
Good
Everybody
afternoon.
remember, first of all, name and address. Good morning.
It
Name and
is.
address
Good
for the
morning.
record. Also, please keep your comments to 3 minutes and try not to repeat the same things that the previous speaker is saying. We do have quite a lengthy agenda today.
Okay, so, good morning. I have been living on Meadowbrook Road since 1988. Okay, I had bought recently the home from my parents 2 years ago. I have 4 children. Small children cannot be playing outside. The traffic is insane. I have had a family member hit by a vehicle in front of my home. I have had rat issues from this home, so I am not opposed to homes being built on the property. I am opposed to the 3 homes being built with basements. I am opposed to the road being next to a safe spot to walk to the library. The road that you have that was approved was said to be put next to the road that runs next to the library parking lot. How is that a safety issue for children walking to a library? You could barely cross this road. I have went to the library for meetings with the NCPD to fight for the traffic stop signs. We tried to have speed zones put up. We have tried everything. And now they're going to add more traffic to the road. This is unacceptable. I am not opposed to, again, I am not opposed to something being built to make it look presentable and to get the rat situation under control, because I have now lost 2 vehicles due to rats. Okay? Legally documented. I have lost 6 vehicles being totaled in front of my home. I have people ejected onto a lawn in front of my home.
Why would you want to buy that home?
It was a family home. Unfortunately, it was not like this for all these years. It has gotten worse over time. And by adding more vehicles to this area to park on Meadowbrook Road, or to have a pickup for garbage, or like you said before, Amazon trucks coming here to deliver, you're causing that much of a space to be taken away from an already narrow road. And it is not acceptable. It's a very big safety issue here. Just to add on a couple more things, I have had neighbors, numerous neighbors, sign a petition that was sent in to the Board of Appeals on my behalf. I did not, because unfortunately we had COVID during that time, and I had given birth to my son during that time as well. Okay, so with that being said, the last hearing, from what I understand, was for approval of an access road, not approving any basements that are now being added in. They were supposed to be taken out. We were told there was no basements. We were told that the access road was going to be a safety, and there's nothing safe about this.
The issue of the basements is not before us, but if you have copies of the decisions, to protect the neighbors in the neighborhood, they're very clear on there be no kitchens or facilities to make it into an illegal 2-family or ingress other than fire safety from the outside. So the town spells it out in their decision.
Right, but with all due respect, we know that people don't follow these rules.
Well,
that's
them out of the town. It's not us.
But that's why it was agreed the last time that there should be no basements.
We can't change that.
Right, and I mean, it's just, when you consider your own home, and I mean, just thinking about it from a homeowner's perspective, if you're buying a house, everybody has so much junk and storage and everything like that. I mean, to say that the houses should be built without basements, I think, that's an unfair request.
What about an attic? Why can't they add an attic into the home instead of a basement to assure us that live in this area? Because listen, I understand. I have a home. I have 7 people in my home. I get it. People have storage. Make an attic. There is no reason for the basements to be in here to add and cause a possible, because there is possibility that they're going to be rented out. Come on, everything's very expensive these days. We know this. Tax properties.
Okay, I hate to cut you off, but there are other people that have to speak.
Absolutely. I
So
hope you take
thank you
everything
for all
I
your
said into
comments. We
consideration,
appreciate
though.
them.
Thank you for your time.
Frank Palizzi? Name and address for the record, please.
Yes, Frank Polizzi. I'm 1710 Michael William Road, Barrington, New York. My property is around the corner from the proposed construction area, right where the property bumps out. My lot borders the back of their lot. So just to be real quick, you had 2 choices there, oppose or for the construction. I had to check oppose for now, but I am not opposed to them building something. I grew up, I bought my parents' house. I live around the corner. I grew up watching the farmhouse that was there. Then it became abandoned. Several families, I think, bought it, or 2 families bought it and tried to do something, but then left or abandoned it. I'm glad that they're going to develop the property into something because, it needs to be done. But again, the concerns that I have are the last variance hearing that I went to was about the access road, and at the time they said that was the only variance that was needed for the access road, that the lot was fully compliant with dividing it into 3 parcels. But now today we're back here because they're saying now they need the variance again to divide it into the 3 parcels. They told us at the time too that there wouldn't be any basement entrances. I understand if the homes are already designed with basements. Instead of having the actual entrance, why wouldn't they do, like, say, an egress window or a well for safety purposes? Not that it will be turned into a rental. It could not. Like you said, it's not legal. Plenty of people do it. But the big thing is the access road and the safety. What you're saying about the fire services. The road is very narrow. I live around the corner. My driveway is 13 feet, and you're saying that this access road is 15 feet. It's only 2 feet wider. I don't see how fire trucks or any kind of apparatus of that type are going to fit down the road in case there's an emergency of fire, ambulances. We know that they say there's ample parking. There's a garage. Most people don't use their garages for car storage. The drawing showing these double spots for cars. People lots of times don't leave their cars in driveways. They may park it on the side. I'll move it in the morning. It lends itself to having it cluttered with vehicles and having an issue with the emergency services. Again, if they could just see about dividing it into 2 lots, I think there can be 2 beautiful homes there with large lots that would be accommodating and nice for whoever purchases the home. In the grand scheme, I know it's really about money also. The developer wants to make the maximum profit, and I'm sure the town would rather have 3 houses paying taxes than instead of 2. But for the sake of safety and for the sake of keeping everyone, happy, if they could see about doing 2 homes instead of 3. But again, the big thing is the safety and the parking that I'm concerned with.
Thank you for your comments.
Thank you.
Richard Smith. Name and address for the record, please.
Yes, good morning, folks. I'm Richard C. Smith of 1472 Hendrickson Avenue. I'm the current president of the Board of Trustees of the North Merrick Public Library that's located adjacent to this property that's under consideration at the moment there. I'm here representing the patrons of the North Merrick Public Library, plus the friends of the North Merrick Public Library. Ever since the town of Hempstead granted this variance to put these houses in, I have been flooded with people telling me that this is a terrible idea. I think Mr. Greenfield expressed, he sounded like a North Merrick resident, with his comments about trucks parking in front of the place. Just think about lawn care. I mean, if a couple of lawn trucks park in front of this thing, none of these houses face the street, okay? They all face this alleyway, and I'll call it an alleyway. That's all it is, all right? In fact, this alleyway abuts right up against our property. If you get a plow truck in there to plow the snow out of there, all that snow is going to fly over the fence right into the sidewalk that leads out of the property. And I heard about the children walking up the property here. This is not a good idea. This Meadowbrook Road was originally a country road that came down through. It's one of the two north-south roads in North Merrick. There's Merrick Avenue, and then there's...
It's a good cut-through road. I'm familiar with it.
Everybody
But the parkway is backed
everybody,
up.
and you and me both, okay? Because you can cut down there, and you avoid some of the lights and some of the traffic that's on Merrick. So you cut through there, and you can get on the parkway real nice, all right?
Before they invented Waze, I used to do that way.
Second of all, if you're familiar with that road, you'll know a lot of the people actually park their cars when they park out front or they have visitors. They park half on the sidewalk and half on the road because they get tired of their mirrors being knocked off, because the road is basically narrow and a lot of trucks come down that road to avoid Merrick Avenue. I attended the original Board of Appeals meeting, and I was shocked by the fact that the town of Hempstead approved the variance, because there's only like about 55 foot of frontage on the front of the house. I've watched, I don't know how many YouTube videos of your meetings here prior to me showing up here. In fact, I'm glad to meet you in person now. I've seen you so many times in the videos here, but most of the properties that you have under consideration are a property that you divide in two, you put a 50-foot frontage in front of it. We have no problem with somebody doing like this, but these people have no access to the front, so they're going to pile all their garbage. The trucks are all going to pile in front, and I hate to see the day that one or two of them have a party. Okay, it's going to be a mess here. Our main concern is the safety of our patrons. Our exit out of the library parking lot, you have to make a right-hand or a left-hand turn. If there are trucks there, you can't see, and most of the patrons are, if you've been to the library lately, are elderly, okay, and there's also with a lot of children that show up at our library. I don't want to see one of them injured because of a decision of a builder who wants to make a few extra dollars, all right? When we first got the word from the town of Hempstead that this was approved, we didn't think it was going to be approved at all, the variance itself, okay? We made an attempt. The library here has existed for 54 years, and this house was built in 1907. It's one of the original farmhouses that exists on that property. We made a bid to buy that property, all right? We talked to the owner. He only paid $345,000 for it. We offered him double the price just so we could get the property to safely, but he turned us down because he told us, I'm going to get a variance and I'm going to build 3 houses on this property, and I'm going to make a substantial profit. We are not talking about profit. We are talking about people's safety here. Okay, I can't emphasize that enough. All right, I plead with you to not grant this. If they may, even when at the Board of Appeals in the town of Hempstead, they stated, the lawyer got up there, and he stated that this house, there was another house on Meadowbrook Road, and I didn't see if that was one of the ones that was handed into the gentleman put in here. But that was a cul-de-sac that was off here, that 3 houses were built in the back there.
Yes, it was on Meadowbrook, and yes, you're correct.
Yeah, it's a cul-de-sac. If they want to put a cul-de-sac here and put 2 houses on it, you know, we're happy. We're good neighbors with everybody that's in the area here. We're a public institution. We're trying to serve the public. In fact, when it came back from the town of Hempstead, we went to local legislator, okay, and asked him, could he intervene, all right? I won't use his name here, but he's now the senator-elect from, and he gave us advice that we, since we were turned down on the property here, of going with eminent domain. I don't know if we can do that to get that property, just to stop this ludicrous idea, all right, of putting
We don't give legal advice here either. You got to ask your attorney.
Right,
with
exactly.
respect to that.
And if you don't mind,
No,
we're
we're not.
giving you a lot of time. There's one more speaker, and we do have more items to deal with today, so if you don't mind, we
I
hear
thank
your
you, and
points.
please give this matter due consideration. Thank you.
Just so you know, we give every matter due consideration. William Pizzullo.
And please, anything new, don't repeat what someone else said.
Good morning. William Pizzullo, 1784 Bushwick Avenue, North Merrick. I live approximately 1/4 of a mile from the aforementioned property. I have been in this community since 1985. I raised a family here, 3 children, okay? And I've been involved in all aspects of the community, the school, the library, etc. The first thing you have to realize, Meadowbrook Road, which is a Nassau County road, has only partially been paved due to the fact that the library opened its doors to the Board of Elections to run election status there on any given day. When that happens, the traffic is unbelievable.
I think they did early voting there.
Okay, that's right. They this year, for some reason, they went down to the temple in South Merrick. I don't know why.
Okay.
But they still are running Election Day at the North Merrick Public Library. The traffic concern is unbelievable. I don't know if any of you, Mr. Greenfield, you seem to know the road, but I can tell you that the road was built in mind with traffic limitations. It is not a wide enough road. Currently, people who live on Meadowbrook Road do park their cars up on the curb, okay? And I have photos if you wish me to share with the staff, okay? The traffic on this road since the 1980s has tripled, just on a daily basis, not even when there's any events, okay? So I think the county has to take a serious look at a traffic study before ever, and this commission, before ever approving this kind of plan, okay? There's only one other thing I'd like to say about this quote-unquote access road, driveway, alley, whatever you wish to call it, which we all, I think, agree is extremely narrow. It has been repositioned. On the existing property, the driveway is on the north side of the property. This plan, if you wish to call it that, which I don't, okay, has completely flipped the driveway to the other side, putting it directly adjacent to the exit driveway of the library. That's a traffic danger. That's not a hazard, that's a danger. Okay?
You're absolutely right.
And the houses are positioned so close to be legally acceptable that in the event of a fire, and I don't have to tell you, sir, that when a home is on fire, time is of the essence. How are you going to get equipment in there to protect the adjacent houses? They're going to start to burn before the North Merrick Fire Department could ever get their equipment properly set up and hoses starting to spray those houses for safety and the existing burning house. It's a fact. You know it, sir, better than I do. You have a heck of a lot more experience than I do in that area. But I've witnessed enough fires to know what's involved.
I'm no longer an interior fireman.
I understand,
past that age.
but you
Leave
have
it
the
to the young
experience.
kids.
You have the experience, sir. You know what
Yes.
I'm talking about. So please take that into consideration. All right?
Thank you.
I thank you for your time, and I appreciate the fact that you do find this plan questionable.
I'd like to clarify something real quick, that Meadowbrook Road is not controlled by Nassau County. If it was, Nassau County would be doing a full review on this under 239F, and it doesn't meet any specifications for Nassau County traffic engineering for a 15-foot multi-directional driveway.
I think it's a town road, and regardless of what happens with this case,
Doesn't
and
meet any
especially the library, the traffic has quadrupled there, especially with Waze directing people down there. Pre-Waze, I was alone and going there. Now, you see a steady stream of people if something happens on the
Yeah,
road.
you can go down there at 10 o'clock in the morning, and there's traffic constantly on the road,
Yeah,
sir.
so you may want to talk to the town about it.
Sir, is it a town of Hempstead Road?
Yes, it's not controlled by Nassau
All
County.
right, thank you for that
If
clarification.
it was,
I
we would do
appreciate
a review and it would not pass.
Okay, and I promise you that, as a resident, I'm gonna rally these residents, and we are gonna be at the next North Merrick, Fire Department Board meeting, okay? Petitioning them to take a stronger position on this issue.
You could thank them. They said they're against it.
We have already thanked them, okay? I have a copy of the letter
Go to
myself.
the town,
But I think the letter-
to ask them to control Meadowbrook Road better. I think that would be better.
Thank you very much. Is there anybody else who wishes to be heard? Commissioners, you have any comments? Mr. Abertine?
We'll make a motion.
Wait.
I presume that the commission intends to continue this hearing on a date to be determined, is that?
We're gonna, so you don't have to renotice it, and for the benefit of the people here, we're gonna adjourn it to a scheduled date that meets with your approval and the approval of your client. So you can check your calendar. I'll be here on the 5th, but you said you won't.
Correct.
I'm not sure I'll be here on the 26th. I'm not up to that yet.
So what extra information would come to
No,
us
we need a full,
between now and then?
we need, no, the problem is, that it's his option. He needs 5 affirmative votes, he may not get it today. Yeah. Oh, you want us to vote today? We can vote. I'm prepared to vote today. We want to.
Let me confer with my client before.
Okay, we just want to be respectful.
I appreciate that.
I would feel better voting today. Yes. Don't wait for him to come back.
Mr. Abertine, we've decided we are going to vote on this today. This way,
Well, if I may, my client, I conferred with my client, he requested that in light of the fact that we don't have a full complement of commissioners, and in light of the input from both the commissioners and from the public, we would like an opportunity to address some of the issues, and if it could be adjourned to January 26th for that purpose.
Well, would your client also address the issue of downsizing it, as you heard from the neighbors and from us, redraw it with a cul-de-sac?
I'm going to confer with him on all of the points that were raised.
Okay. Then I think we've done something.
okay, then, commissioners, I'll take a motion. Whatever your pleasure is to adjourn.
Make a motion that we adjourn this hearing to January 26, 2023.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And with the comment, I hope your client, and I'm glad they're here, that's why I always insist upon the applicant being here, takes strongly the comments that are here and is prepared to make modifications to the project which will better suit the neighborhood.
As indicated, I will confer with him on all the points. It's a fair amount of information to absorb.
Okay, thank you, Howard.
Thank you.
I know.
And
Happy holidays.
Thank you. Happy
Same to you,
holidays.
and Happy New Year.
Thank you, same to you. Okay, Mr. Herschel. Next.
We have an application for an extension of time. This is NCPC file 50 of 2021. An application for a 2-lot subdivision at 189 Jackson Avenue, Hamlet of Syosset, Town of Oyster Bay, R17 zone. Lot A, was approved as 7,915 square feet. Lot B was approved as 10,423 square feet. Got the necessary variances from the town of Oyster Bay. Application was originally heard at the October 7th, 2021 Planning Commission hearing and was thereafter approved on October 14th, 2021. Before us today for an extension of time to file the deeds. A resolution was initially signed on December 6th of 2021 and was set to expire after 12 months on December 6th of this year. If approved, the new date to file the deeds will be extended an additional 6 months until June 6th of 2023. Here today representing the applicant is Thomas Abadi.
Not here.
Not here.
Okay, adjourn.
When is the extension till?
June 6th, 2023.
All right, we don't really need them.
No, so move
Okay,
it quick.
so, do I have a motion? Hello, don't all jump at once.
So moved.
Is there a second? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. All right. Zoning. Pardon? June 23rd, you said?
6th.
26th.
6 months.
Okay.
Okay, let's move quickly on the zoning calendar.
All right, you're off on number 1.
Okay, so you want to do that first? I'll walk
I'll do
inside.
that first.
Okay.
Okay, with respect to item number 1, staff's opinion may be different than what the commission discussed at the pre-meeting, and if it is, I have other, well, I don't know. You want me to read the case first, and then?
Well, I think we went through the whole case.
Okay.
If any of the commissioners have questions, they can ask you.
I mean,
What staff is asking for is a modification to reduce the scale of the project. I think we've heard everything. My feeling is we've heard what the applicant had reduced it to from where it was.
I wasn't aware of that reduction, just to let you know, but okay.
Okay, and as I recall, is it the deputy mayor that was there? Yeah. Okay, he gave us his feelings of this, and I think that you have to listen to the local municipality when it comes to this.
Can I say one thing? We haven't gotten a landscape plan yet, and I know Bill Dinesso, the attorney, said we would get that. The village commissioned a TIA, Transportation Impact Analysis. We haven't gotten that. Okay. The traffic impact analysis that the applicant's consultant gave us didn't address the impact of the project on the school or the impact of delivery trucks and emergency vehicles, as was expressed in a letter that came to us in opposition. So we could hold it incomplete, or we could do whatever the commission might want to do.
Hold it?
No, I would suggest that you act on it today.
Yeah.
Just LD it?
And LD it, yes.
Huh? Okay.
I don't have a problem with it. They explained the landscape buffer and.
That was the advantage of having Mr. Dinesso in here.
And the
to
village
answer
official here too, so I think that we should move
And
it
also,
forward.
yeah, and they said that there's going to be another traffic report done by another company.
Yes, so they will take that into consideration, but I don't think there's a reason for us to hold it.
Exactly. They seem to be thorough. I think all
Yeah.
your questions were answered and concerns addressed, unless there's something I missed in the pre.
I'm comfortable with moving it. Commissioners, anybody have any other feelings?
I want to echo that opinion, and I just think this is a good example of how site-specific all the stuff that comes before us is. So, when you hear the numbers in the roar, it's one thing, but then when you see the context, you have a parking lot right adjacent to the property, that it's in walking distance of the downtown, so it's essentially a transit-oriented development project, that there's pressure that it could be developed into other things that would be significantly more demanding in terms of traffic impacts and such. So when you consider all those factors, I think it's a very strong case for the project, and I'll make a motion for an LD.
It's somewhat of a transition zone,
Yeah.
as you stated, from
Right.
downtown to the residents.
Yeah, you do have single-family housing on one side, but on the other side, it's part of the downtown, so it is
Right.
transitional.
But it also is attractively designed.
Sure.
Right.
I think they did a nice
Okay.
job with it. So let's, there's a motion on the floor for an LD. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Jeff, come on back.
The next one, we had a letter attached to it, so I don't know how you Commission wants to handle that.
Well, I think we actually spoke, with the applicant and their attorney. We did mention that we would ask them to look at the affordable housing component. Otherwise, I
Okay.
didn't see any other issues with it.
That was the issue I had.
Okay? That comment was made by numerous commissioners, so I would take a motion for, on NCPC file, agenda item 2 of the zoning agenda for an LD with a letter asking them to look at the affordable housing set-aside.
Second that.
I guess then the only other case where there was...
Wait a
other
minute.
than-
We gotta vote.
I'm sorry.
All those
Motion
in
made
favor?
and second, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? So carried.
Okay. What was the only other one you
No,
had a
I guess
question?
it would be item number 9, the
Well,
Roseville Fieldmore, we wanted additional information.
right, so 9, we're gonna entertain a motion.
Should I
to
read it
adjourn.
into the case into the
No.
record, or do you know?
No, we don't have to.
All right.
In the pre-meeting today, council agreed to an adjournment for us. And-
Well, it's an additional information, we're gonna request additional information.
Right, pending.
Right.
So we're marking it incomplete pending additional information. Council agreed to it, and you'll read into the record on 1/5. So
Okay.
we'll entertain a motion to adjourn to 1/5/23.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So carried. Okay.
Now just go
That's
down the whole
9.
list.
Okay, now, short form, LD for 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, and 5.
And even though you're gonna do what you're gonna do, just let the record reflect, I am recused from advising you on cases 6 and 7.
Fine.
Okay.
You're recused. So let's do 6 separate.
6 first. Okay.
Don't go far away.
Commissioner, that's not the village, that's outside.
Oh,
the
yeah,
village.
that's north, Freeport.
That's Town of Hempstead.
Yeah. Yeah, it says Town of Hempstead
they-
near Freeport.
What the Town of Hempstead does using filed maps a lot of times is they'll use, if it's unincorporated, like I've seen near Floral Park, near Freeport, it's not part of the village where you serve as trustee. So you do not have to recuse it.
Yeah, we checked the map at pre-meeting.
Okay, so Mr. Vice Chair, I will make a motion to LD agenda items 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, and 5.
Motion made. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion made and second. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? So carried.
Is there any other new business? Not seeing any, I will take a
Oh,
motion.
if I just may, I think some emails were out for everybody with CLE. The New York State Division of Local Government Services is online winter webinar series for county referrals, CEQA, Planning Board overview, and BZA overview. I think there were emails. Check your emails.
Also, I would mention that any commissioners that have not done the 4 hours that we recently did with land use should look into this so that they are in compliance with the once-a-year 4 hours of CLE that we have
The county
to do.
charter says you can't be appointed or you can't be reappointed without your 4 hours annually, so please go online and take care. And if you have a problem getting something, just shoot me an email and we'll work something out, because...
Regarding the training, I just want to point out it's the 21st is the secret training that's coming up. It's
Yeah.
done at night, unfortunately, but still, people may want to sign up for it even if you did the other training, just because it's very relevant to what we cover. And I found that they did have their training from last year is also available on YouTube.
Great.
And so I was listening to that, and I thought it was pretty helpful, so I just wanted to mention that.
Also, if you could find out when the financial disclosures are due.
Okay.
Every year, commissioners.
Usually I get an email from my own.
Yeah, well, we usually get it like a day before, so if staff could do it a little early.
Last
And
year
the new
I got
members.
an email the day before. I don't know what happened, but I realized it and went online. I even called you.
It might have been
Yeah.
change of administration, whoever did it, didn't do it this year.
Okay, well, we'll make a motion to adjourn. Happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to everybody.
All right. Good job, staff. Thank you. Neil, don't forget your coat. All right, Merry Christmas, Bob. All right, Heatherwood, take care. I can't. Have lunch. Yes, we've got. I gotta get moving. Jeff, why aren't you going out the other way? Because they blocked a lot, and I found the handicap spot on this side. Handicap? I'm walking like I have a stick on my ass. Do you have a sticker? Yeah.